Hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about Auriel, the Archangel of Hope. She's the upcoming Heroes of the Storm support, and we got some info about her. We know her abilities, we know her talents, we got some screenshots, even a small bit of gameplay footage. But before we go any further, please keep in mind that all this information is not yet final, and some of it is a tad fuzzy or incomplete. So let's start off with her abilities, because I believe that is the most important part to Auriel. Her trait is called Bestow Hope. This is an activated ability on your D key, and from what info I could find, it doesn't really have a cooldown per se. It's more like half a second or a second, something like that. Bestow an allied hero with hope. While they remain near you, damage they deal causes you to gain energy. You can only have Bestow Hope on one ally at a time. 40% of damage dealt to heroes and 8% damage dealt to non-heroes is stored as energy. Damage dealt by that specific ally which you bestowed hope upon. So she's got a very interesting energy system, and we gotta make the most of it. What do you do with energy? You will see in a second. Her Q ability on an 8-second cooldown is called Sacred Sweep. This is a frontal cone-like ability, and it's best to think of this one like scissors. Okay, scissors slamming shut. Sweep the target area with Sacred Power, dealing damage to enemies and additional damage to enemies caught in the center. So this is how it would look. Keep in mind that the center part will deal bonus damage. Frontal cone-like ability, again, scissors, slamming, shred. Let's move on to her W ability, Ray of Heaven. This one is on a 4-second cooldown. Consume your stored energy and heal allied heroes in the area for the amount of energy consumed. So this is where your trait comes into play. Okay, the energy you stored using your trait will be used with Ray of Heaven to heal allies. And it would appear that this one is an AoE circle on the ground, which theoretically can mean that you're gonna be able to get AoE healing for this one. Again, we got a little bit of gameplay footage. I'm gonna roll it a tad later. So the more energy you have through your trait, okay, through your bestowed ally or allies, you're gonna be able to pump up the power of your W quite nicely. Let's move on to her E ability. This one is called Detainment Strike. It's on a 14-second cooldown, and it looks to be a projectile in a line, kind of like a skill shot in a line. Okay, you send a projectile in a line, deal damage to the first enemy hero hit and knock them back. Look how this one reads, the first part, deal damage to the first enemy hero hit. This to me says that it can pass theoretically through minions and through structures as well. I'm wondering if it can pass through a gate at this point. If they collide with terrain, they are also stunned for 1.25 seconds and take additional damage. So this one will work pretty much like Diablo's Q ability, his Shadow Charge. You know, you collide with an enemy, you can knock them back, and if you hit them into a wall, you knock them into a wall, you also get that stun. This is how Detainment Strike will work for the most part. Just keep in mind that Auriel is a ranged support classified as hard to play. You don't actually fly into your opponent. Okay, you send out a projectile. First heroic ability is Crystal Aegis. Place an allied hero into stasis for 2 seconds. Upon expiration, Crystal Aegis deals damage to all nearby enemies. So you're gonna stasis somebody for 2 seconds, save them, after which the area around the Aegis will explode after 2 seconds. This one is extremely useful for an initiation from my point of view. Okay, somebody jumps in, you Aegis them, or maybe to save an ally which is getting focused down. For example, you got a squishy Vala which got cut out. Okay, you're gonna Aegis, she's gonna become invulnerable, and theoretically this should deter the enemy team try to get away from the Aegis and therefore Vala, okay, because the area will explode with damage. Second heroic ability, and the one everybody's been talking about, Resurrect. This one is on a 90-second cooldown. Channel on the spirit of a dead ally for 3 seconds, bringing them back to life with 50% of their maximum health at the location where they died. So look at this one, guys. For 3 seconds, you got a channel for 3 seconds, which means the enemy team has ample time to interrupt you. It's a 3-second channel, and the allied is brought back with a good chunk amount of health, 50% at their location. Now I got a couple of screenshots which should better show how this one works. This is her E ability. Again, look at the little ball. It looks to be, again, a skill shot in a line, a projectile sent in a line. This would be the Aegis. All right, from this one I take the telemark. Okay, the telemark around the Aegis, I'm guessing that will be the area which will explode with damage. And of course, this is how spirits look. Okay, the spirits would pretty much look like the outline of the hero which died, with this yellowish glow around them. This is how you'll be able to target them, okay, and start the 3-second channel. And pray to God it won't get interrupted, of course. Moving on to level 1 talents. Now, before we go any further, most of the talents have been taken from China Joy. Okay, so it's a translation, it's a rough translation of the basic talent description from Chinese into English. So they're a little bit fuzzy and rough. Sorry, nothing more I can do. So first talent at level 1 is Swift Sweep. This one is for your Q ability. Increases Sacred Sweep cast speed. Clear to the point, it's gonna be easier to get heroes again in the center, well, where they will take bonus damage, and depending on what talents we will be picking up, different effects as well. Another talent for our Q ability at level 1 is Increasing Clarity. This is a quest talent, increases center damage by hitting heroes. How many, by how much, do we lose anything on death? We don't know at this point. This is again the baby description of the talent because that's all Blizzard gave us so far. Righteous Assault, another talent for our Q ability, same level 1. Hitting heroes in the center reduces Sacred Sweep cooldown. So by how many and how much? Because I'm thinking theoretically, you can hit multiple heroes and the cooldown of your Q ability is 8 seconds. Maybe it's something like 2 seconds and you hit 2 heroes, you're gonna get a 4-second cooldown on your Q ability. Interesting talent at level 1, but kind of mainstream. Okay, we kind of seen such talents before. Final talent at level 1 will be Searing Light. This one is for your Ray of Heaven, which will also damage enemies in the area. So it's pretty clear that Ray of Heaven is gonna be an AoE circle, okay, on the ground probably. This will also damage enemy heroes and heal your own. So think about it in a heavy melee fight. Okay, in a heavy melee fight, everybody's doing damage and all whatnot. With one ability, you heal your guys and you damage everybody else. You damage the enemy team. That's gonna sting a little bit because practically it shifts the balance in one single spell. Pretty good for her. And I ask you to notice that you don't see any energy talents or mana talents or something like that. Okay, any sort of resource talent at level 1, and I do love a hero which I don't necessarily have to worry about gathering globes and all whatnot. We're gonna move on to talents at level 4. Another talent for her Q ability, increases Sacred Sweep radius. Clear to the point, alright, it will increase the actual radius of her Q ability. Again, the frontal cone-like ability which acts like scissors. E ability, a talent for our E ability at level 4, the enemy will be slowed by 35% for 3 seconds if Detainment Strike stunned the enemy. Yeah, again, translation, sorry about that. So this one would read more like this. If Detainment Strike stuns an enemy, they will be slowed by 35% for 3 seconds. I'm guessing after the 1.25 second stun which will be applied. Final talent at level 4 is a quest talent. Again for Detainment Strike or E ability. The damage of Detainment Strike is increased if it stuns the enemy, and this is a quest talent, so probably it's gonna be like stun 50 enemies, get bonus damage for your E ability. Again, I don't know the limitations. Do you lose anything on death? You don't lose anything on death? How exactly will this one work? First talent at level 7 decreases Ray of Heaven cooldown, but it doesn't say by how much. Let's keep in mind that the base cooldown of Ray of Heaven is 4 seconds, right? At 4 seconds, it's already a little bit spammy, so I'm guessing this one can't be more than a second. But also Ray of Heaven is dependent on energy, okay? It has an energy cost, so I'm guessing they're gonna balance out between cooldown and actual energy cost of Ray of Heaven and energy generation at the same time. Next talent at level 7, Regen Globe can decrease the Bestow Hope cost of Ray of Heaven. Okay, this one reads completely goofy and stupid, but the way I think this one works is that picking up a Regen Globe will reduce the resource cost of your next Ray of Heaven. Next talent at level 7, also for the same Ray of Heaven. Basic attack, double the amount of Bestow Hope gathered from damage. Yeah, this one also reads a tad goofy, but I think it's a tad more clear than the other one, and I also think this is a talent for our trait. Basic attacks, double the amount of Bestow Hope gathered from damage. So I'm guessing what this one does is it will double the amount of energy restored through basic attacks, right? So like something like a basic attack would normally restore 3 energy. With this talent it will restore 6 energy. You got a Jimmy Raynor on your team or another AA based hero, you put Bestow Hope on him, your trait, again with the specific talent, and you're gonna be able to regenerate energy a whole lot more efficiently. Yeah, this has gotta be a talent for your trait. Final talent, this one is for a trait for sure. Damage to allied heroes will give you bestow hope stacks. There are no bestowed hope stacks, so this one must be referring to energy. Normally you would only generate energy if the target of your trait, the allied hero which you have your trait on, your bestowed hope on, will deal damage. Now you will also generate energy if that specific target also takes damage. Alright, like I told you guys, some of them are really fuzzy and some of it is kind of interpretation and guesswork, but this is the best we got at this point. Level 13, talent for our Q ability. Sacred Sweep will blind enemies in the center. Situational, okay, a blind on for our Q ability. If the enemy team is heavy on AA heroes, then absolutely you're gonna get some value out of this one probably. Second talent at level 13, also for Q. Sacred Sweep will pull enemies in the center, and this one sounds really nice. It reminds me of Vesab Johan or Johan from Liming, remember? So think about this talent and a Vala's Reign of Vengeance, okay? Sacred Sweep will pull enemies in the center, so you gather everybody around with your scissors, and then Vala follows it up with a Reign of Vengeance. Glorious, absolutely glorious. If it will work like that, that is. Next talent is for our E, our Detainment Strike. Detainment Strike will attack all the targets in a straight line. So normally it will stop, Detainment Strike without this talent will stop in the first enemy hero hit, so I'm guessing it's gonna pass through minions. This talent will cause that it affects all enemies hit in the entire length of the skill shot. Next talent at 13, also for Detainment Strike, increases the hit back distance of Detainment Strike. And I'm guessing it means the knockback distance of Detainment Strike. Okay, pretty clear and cut to the point. You're gonna be able to knock enemies back further. And keep it in mind that Auriel has no default escape in her kit, alright? The increased knockback length might come in extremely useful when trying to escape. Again, this is level 13, and Blizzard usually at level 14 concentrates defensive talents. Level 16, this one is a whole lot more clear because we actually have a screenshot in English for this tier. Reservoir of Hope talent for our W ability, Ray of Heaven. Quest increases maximum Ray of Heaven energy. So you're gonna be able to pump out more powerful Ray of Heavens, okay? More energy means a bigger boom heal, theoretically, at least. But we don't know the details about the quest. How do we actually increase the energy? Like, I don't know, hit 16, 20, 50 allies with Ray of Heaven. What is the actual amount? How many do we need to hit? Do we lose anything on death? We need more details on this one. Next talent at 16 will be for our trait, Will of Heaven. Bestow Hope, ally gains attack speed. So this one will be extremely good for you if you have AA based heroes on your team. Let's say a AA based Vala, okay? If you have Vala, you're gonna pick up this one. It will increase her attack speed. She's gonna get nice value out of it. If not, Wrath of Heaven, the next talent. Bestow Hope, ally gains ability power. So these two are damage increases for your team. You're gonna be able to help them deal more damage, and they're divided into two: basic attack damage and ability damage, the two damage types we have in Heroes of the Storm. Pretty cool, clear cut to the point, but it doesn't seem all that exciting. I hope they have at least cool effects. And finally, level 20 talents. Now these are translated, sorry about that guys. First option at 20 will be the upgrade to the Resurrect heroic ability. Resurrected hero will restore full health, increases movement speed. Now normally when we resurrect an ally, we will bring him back with 50% hit points. This will make it so he comes back with 100% hit points, and apparently he's gonna get a small movement buff as well, movement speed buff. Second option is the upgrade to Crystal Aegis, which will now also shield the allied hero. So I'm guessing this one will work like after the 2-second stasis, the specific ally will also get a shield, which will come in very useful for saving somebody's skin, obviously. Pretty good. Next two abilities are separate activated abilities. From what I can tell, we don't have the full details. First one, Auriel can fly to target location. We don't know the range, we don't know the speed or the actual cooldown. All we know is that we can fly. Hopefully we'll be able to use this one as an escape tool, since we have none in our default kit. Second activated ability, give an allied hero a shield according to how much HP he had lost. So this is an HP based off of missing health, which I don't believe we have in Heroes of the Storm currently. So this one should be interesting, especially on a fat tank. Something like Joanna, you know, when you think you finally got her, Unstoppable's done, you're gonna pop this one. Gonna be cool to try out, and that's about it for Miss Auriel's abilities. So what can I say? She definitely looks very interesting, especially considering her trait Bestow Hope. Currently we don't have such an energy mechanic in Heroes of the Storm, and I love the fact that it further encourages team play. Some of her talents seem to be very exciting to play with, others not as much, just run-of-the-mill mech talents. But in any case, I'm happy to see another support come to Heroes of the Storm, because let's face it, we are in dire need of one, and I cannot wait to test Auriel. Speaking of testing, she's gonna come to the PTR starting next week. A Blizzard developer did confirm as early as next Monday, but if I was you, I would put my money on Tuesday. So 1 week on the PTR, she's gonna spend 1 week on the PTR, after which she's gonna come to live servers. And that's gonna be it, folks. I wanna know what you think about Auriel. Do you like the concept? Do you like the idea? Do you like the talents? Do you like what you see? Or if you don't, tell me why, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna thank all of you guys for watching. My name has been Leyzar. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.